Hello and welcome to this module where we are going to be discussing the business model canvas. The business model canvas is a template that we can use to lay out how we would like our business to look like and to function. It is called a canvas because it is used in the same way that painters or artists use the canvas or the tent when they are painting their pictures. We use the business model canvas to paint a picture of how we would like our business to look like. Because it is a blank canvas, we can come up with many different designs of how we would like the business to look like and to function. Also, because it is a template, the business model canvas provides a number of boxes, 9 to be exact, where we can fill in information about how different aspects of the business must look like and must function. By playing around with different ideas in each box, we can come up with different ways in which we can implement the same business concept. We are going to be going through each of these boxes, and I'm going to be using my own business as an example, and I'll explain how I have modeled the different parts of my business using this business model canvas. While I'm doing that, I need you to be thinking of your own business or your project and come up with ideas how you can complete each of these boxes. After this module, you'll be required to submit the model that you have created for your own business. It can be for a business that you are thinking of or one that you're already implementing, or it can just be an idea that you'd like to play around with. The 9 boxes on the business model canvas represent the following 9 key areas or aspects of business. The first one are your key partners. Then you have the key activities of the business, followed by key resources of the business. We also have the value proposition. Then from there, we will go to the various customer segments. And then we will define the customer relationships with those different customer segments. For each customer segment, we also define the various channels through which we develop relationships. We are also going to be discussing revenue streams as well as the cost structure of the business. The business model canvas allows us to do what we call what-if analysis. In other words, you can ask yourself, what if I change the key activities of the business from selling clothes to selling food? How does that affect the resources that I need for the business? How does that affect the customer segments? Will I still be targeting the same segments? And if so, how does it affect the way in which we relate? So by changing one of those boxes, it affects the rest of the model. So you can play around with different options depending on what is available within your market space. I'm now going to be explaining the various parts of the business model canvas using my own business. When people hear me say, "Come, let me teach you about small business management," the first thing that will come to their mind is, which business has he created so that he has the integrity to teach us how to run a small business? The problem is that our traditional concept of business are big warehouses, a big shop or offices with a fleet of vehicles. But these days, we are living in the information age, where information is more precious than anything else. So that is the business in which I am. I deal with intellectual property. I deal with information. I deal with knowledge. So as I go through this model using my own business, you're going to see that the model that I've come up with can even be more sophisticated than the business of a huge supermarket chain. It can be even more complex than a wholesale business that we traditionally look at and consider to be the real type of business. As I explain this model, you will discover that one box will refer to one or more other boxes that we have not yet explained. So I'm going to try and start with the most basic segments so that we build up from the ground upwards. So I'm going to start by defining the value proposition. With the value proposition, we are saying what value are we delivering to the clients with our business? What needs are we meeting? Which problems are we solving? And which bundle of products or services are we delivering to each customer segment? For my business, my value proposition is as follows. The first thing that we are delivering to our clients is knowledge in the form of the various courses that we offer. The way in which we deliver this knowledge through this online learning platform also provides value in terms of convenience. Our customers no longer need to come to us, and they no longer need to book conference rooms in which we need to come and train them. We've also provided convenience during this coronavirus pandemic, where at times individuals and companies are completely locked down. But by providing an online learning platform, we are still delivering the same knowledge that people would have obtained in a physical classroom, but they can still get it even when they are locked down in their houses. And then the other value that we are delivering to clients is economy. The cost of the online courses is a fraction of what we would normally charge if people were going to come and learn face to face. Especially when we offer these courses to the general public, we give them at a giveaway price. So those are the basic components of our value proposition. The next segment we are going to look at is that of the key activities. Here we consider all the different activities that the business must go through at each stage of the business cycle. So each of these boxes on the business model canvas has got certain activities that must be carried out in order to achieve the goals of that business aspect. I will start by discussing the activities that are related to the value proposition for my business. So these are the activities which have to do with developing that value that we deliver to the clients. So in order for us to come up with training programs, there are a number of activities that have to be carried out. First of all, we needed to have this platform from where I am broadcasting. That took a lot of resources in terms of time and money, developing the website, a lot of programming. And after developing this platform, the next thing is to develop the actual content. So for me to produce a single video like this one, which is probably 15 to 20 minutes long, it takes no less than 4 to 5 hours just for a single video, because there is the preparation stage, there is the actual recording, then there is the editing of the video, and once the video has been editing, we then launch the video on the website. For each different arm of the value proposition, you will find a different training course. So if you go on our website, www.fbtms.com, you will discover that there are different training programs ranging from computer literacy, advanced computer programs, stores control, asset management, vehicle fleet management, small business management, performance management, and the list goes on and on. So for us to create each of those legs of the value proposition, there has to be research that goes into it. In other words, we need to know which courses would our market readily subscribe to. And once we know the courses that the market would readily subscribe to, then we research the content that is relevant to the market before we can even come and record that course. So the value proposition for us represents the bulk of the activities for the business. We also have activities that have to do with developing the customer relationships. Firstly, we have to advertise in order to create awareness. If you are watching me right now, it means that you learned about this program from an advertisement, most likely on social media. Once we have negotiated with a client and they agree to subscribe, then a relationship starts with that client. One of the key activities in developing customer relations is follow-up. We need to be constantly in touch with potential and existing clients through various means of communication. So we use social media a lot, Facebook in particular, and we also use WhatsApp. Many times we also send emails as well as make telephone calls to our clients. After the clients have finished learning, we ask them to evaluate our service. In other words, they need to evaluate the course that they've just completed. This assists us in adding more value to these products and services that we are offering. It also gives our clients the satisfaction that we value their input. When it comes to the activities that are related to the revenue streams, what we are looking at is what is it that we can do that can bring in money. So we need to look at different avenues through which we can get money. So if one client has done a course in computer literacy, that is one revenue stream. If we can sell to the same client a course in inventory management, then we have got 2 revenue streams from the same client. So in order for us to have different revenue streams, we have to be constantly developing new training products. It is the same thing with a supermarket. When you walk in, there are certain products like salt that a person will buy 1 kg probably in 3 or 4 months. Then there are certain products like fresh milk that they come to buy every day. So each of those products represent a different revenue stream. A person that is looking for rat poison will probably come once in a lifetime to a supermarket. It means that different products have different revenue potential. So for your business, you need to come up with a number of different channels through which money comes in. Because when the target market has already attended a particular course, no matter how much we advertise, that person is not going to come back to buy the same course. So we need to come up with different programs so that the same person can be attracted to come back and buy a different training program from us. So the next box that we are going to look at is that of key partners. When we talk of partners, we are not necessarily talking about your business partners. In other words, your core shareholders. We are talking about individuals and organizations that you rely on for the success of your business. So we need to define who are our key partners, who are the major suppliers, what resources are they supplying us? In other words, what is it that we buy from them? And also, which key activities are those partners playing? In this online training project, the biggest partner that we have is the company that hosts our website. In other words, we need a place on the internet where this platform actually sits, so that when you are sitting at home and you type www.fbtms.com, you can reach us even when our own computers are not available. So that web hosting service is our biggest partner for this online training program. Secondly, all the telecommunication companies are also key partners, because in order for us and our customers to even get onto the internet, we need connectivity through a cell phone, through a tablet, or through a computer which is connected to a network. So all those connect through a telecommunication channel. The third category of partners are the various instructors that will be instructing the different courses. We can come up with ideas to produce training programs on subjects that we have never heard of, but we need people with expertise in those different areas to actually come and do the instruction. So the various instructors are also key partners to the business. Next, video producers are a major part of this enterprise. We need people with the expertise to record and to edit videos. So without video production, all our ideas cannot be brought to life. So video producers are partners number 4. So we can go on and on discussing the various people who provide everything that we need for our service. Like, for example, when we are doing the shooting, we need lighting, we need dressing, we need food, we need drink. So those are all different partners without whom our project would not be successful. So we need to rank our key partners in order of priority, from the most important to the not so important ones. One of the most important boxes on this business model canvas is that of key resources. This is where we define the resources that we require in terms of financial resources and other material resources in order for us to succeed in every other aspect of the business. So we need resources to create and define and deliver the value proposition. We need resources for establishing communication channels with the various customer segments. So each step in the business process requires its own set of resources. For our business, the major resource that we had to ensure we had before we could even dream that this dream could come true was a website developer. So in other words, we needed somebody with the ability to create a program online, the program that we use for hosting these training programs. So this is not just an ordinary website where you create a page and you put information about your business. It is a website where a person goes in, they have to select which course they are going to do. When they go into that particular course, they have to be given a list of contents for that course. They can click on any chapter, they can navigate to any part of the training from anywhere. So that requires a lot of programming. So we could not even take the first step before we were sure that we can get somebody to develop this website. Once we got a developer, the next thing we needed was a set of computers and software. In order to come up with a project like this one, you need a wide range of software, some of which you can download for free, others you have to buy over the internet. So computers and software were the second most important resource needed for the project. In terms of human resources, the instructors are also key to the business. So we have to identify the various people that can teach the different programs representing the various revenue streams. Next, we needed production equipment. In other words, to be able to produce the videos, it's either we had to buy our own equipment or to hire somebody that comes in with their own equipment. So the resource in terms of production equipment could either be the actual equipment itself or money to hire somebody to bring in their own equipment. Another resource that we needed for the business were marketers. In other words, people that would spend time on social media advertising the programs, as well as attending to those clients who were responding to the advertisements. What I've done so far is look at a few resources that are applicable to some of the aspects of our business. What you need to do for your own business is consider every step of the business cycle and of the product cycle. If you are into manufacturing, for example, you need to consider what are the resources required for the research and development, for the design of the product, the actual manufacturing of the product. What resources do we need for packaging of the product, for distribution of the product through the various distribution channels that we have set up? What resources do we need for marketing and selling the product? So you are looking at every single step. You are looking at every single part of the business cycle and of the product cycle. Then you have to carefully look at every stage and say exactly what do we need when we are doing this particular stage. At first, we start the discussion at a summary or executive level. Then we give to people at lower levels, in other words, those that are responsible for the specific areas. Then we task them to come up with a comprehensive list of every single resource that is required in order for them to execute their part of the business cycle or of the product cycle. I look forward to seeing how you're going to be listing your key resources on your business model canvas that you're going to do for this exercise, which you'll be submitting to us. The next box we're going to consider on the business model canvas is the customer segments. We are now asking, for whom are we creating the value? For whom are we developing these products and services? And who are our most important customers? When we were considering our customer segments for this online training platform, the first segment that came in mind is the segment that we've been servicing for the past 15 years or so. This includes public and private institutions for whom we've been offering training for staff and management, but we've been doing it on a face-to-face basis. So they constitute our first customer segment. Secondly, we are also looking at another customer segment of individuals who are already in business or aspiring to become business people. So these are people that are going to be owning small to medium enterprises that we hope in the near future are going to grow into large enterprises. We are also targeting another customer segment of working class people. So these are individuals who on their own would like to improve their skills. Many of our courses are designed for people who have been elevated through the years in their organizations, but at each stage they have not received formal training for that new assignment. So what we do is we provide training that is targeted at specific individuals. Say, for example, a person was an administrator, then they are elevated so that they are in charge of the stores or of inventory. We provide the inventory management training course, which takes somebody with basic administrative skills, and then we give them a quick start into inventory management. So what we do is we condense or summarize the knowledge that they would have gained through a certificate or diploma course that would have taken them a year or two to complete. But we give them that knowledge in a very short space of time. We also have another customer segment, which is that of job seekers who need to equip themselves with basic computer skills that are usually required from people, especially at entry level. So our computer literacy training and some of the advanced computer skills courses are targeted at people who would like to go for an interview and to confidently say, I am able to use a computer. I'm able to use Microsoft Excel. I can use Microsoft Word. I can work on the internet, and I can work with email. We are also targeting learners or students, especially those that are in institutions where they don't have ready access to learn computers. So we give them the opportunity to learn online so that what others are learning in class, they can also learn on their own online, even if their school doesn't offer that kind of training. Then finally, we have a customer segment of housewives and house husbands. These are people that stay at home, but they would like to equip themselves with one skill or the other, either in preparation of work that they are going to look for or in preparation for a business that they are planning to start in the future. So you can see that we have well defined our customer segments, and for each segment, we are going to be developing a series of training programs that are relevant to them. Let us now look at the box for customer relationships. Here we are defining how we relate to our clients from the time of first contact and also the mode of delivery of the product or service. What kind of contact do we maintain with the clients? For our online training platform, our ultimate goal is for 100% self-service. In other words, we want to develop our product to such a stage that a client can visit our website, they select what they want from a menu, they pay for it online, they study. After they complete their studies, they receive their certificate from us, possibly without even a single telephone call, SMS, or email. The reason is because we are hoping to reach thousands, if not millions of clients over the next so many years. There's a stage that will come when it is not possible to attend to those hundreds of thousands of clients that are logging in to our website at any given time. So we'd like our software to be able to handle the whole business cycle right from the beginning to the end of the training. However, we will keep all the other communication channels open. In other words, those that would like the comfort of talking to somebody should still be able to call us. Those who would like to text on WhatsApp or those who would like to email will also still have the opportunity to use those modes of communication. So because our product is online, we are hoping that our customer relationships will also be mostly digital. However, for the corporate clients, we will always need to establish agreements or contracts on an annual basis because most of them have procurement procedures that require them to contact suppliers of various services at the beginning of every financial year. So we are going to maintain those personalized relationships with each corporate client. So this brings us to the issue of channels. In other words, through which channels do the various customer segments want us to reach them? For most of our clients, we are going to be meeting them on social media. So that is the medium that we are going to be using to reach them. For those corporate clients that we need to communicate with, we are going to use the traditional methods of telephones, emails, letters, and so forth. So business is like a butterfly. It metamorphoses or it transforms from one form to the other. So we can never be rigid and say this is what we set out to do in year number one. Therefore, we have to do it exactly like that to the end. We need to assess and see which strategies are working, which communication channel is most effective with individuals, which one is most effective with corporate clients, and then with time we readjust our position to ensure that we are also moving with the times. Let us now look at the revenue streams. In simple terms, a revenue stream is an avenue through which money or revenue comes to us. This is usually in the form of a particular service or products. So if we are selling cars, the cars represent a specific revenue stream. Then if we also have a workshop to service the cars, the servicing represents a different revenue stream. So every unique activity that you carry out that results in the generation of revenue is what we are referring to as a revenue stream. In our case, we have got one main revenue stream, which is the training. But we now need to break down that training into the different programs that are designed for the different customer segments. So each program now becomes a separate revenue stream that we need to analyze from time to time so that we can see how much is it contributing to the overall revenue. If you see that a particular revenue stream is contributing a bigger portion of your overall revenue, you can allocate more resources to it in the same way that you would feed more the horse that does a lot of work for you. In the same way, if there is a revenue stream that is not doing so well, but you can see that it has got potential, you can also allocate resources to it so that you raise it to reach its potential. In the long run, you might discover that there are certain revenue streams that have been exhausted and therefore need to be retired. So this is the reason why we need to clearly define and put boundaries between the different revenue streams so that we can be able to analyze each separately and make good business decisions about each as time goes on. The last box we are going to look at on our business model canvas is the cost structure. This is one of the most important considerations for any business, especially a new business. Most businesses that are starting do not fail because they are not making money, but they fail because they are overburdened with unnecessary costs. So it is important to define your cost structure properly. We need to ask ourselves, what are the most important costs that are inherent in our business? So in other words, we need to know what are those costs that we cannot do without because they form part or core of the business. We ask ourselves which key resources are the most expensive. So what you need to do now is to list those resources in order from the most expensive to the least expensive. Then we also look at which activities are most expensive. And remember that activities are defined for each stage of the business cycle and of the product cycle. In our business, the most important costs are that of the development of this online training platform, as well as the development of the content. In other words, we cannot do without the website, and we also cannot do without the content. We have to make the training videos. Without developing new modules, we are stuck with the few revenue streams that we have. So our key resources would now be the programmers for developing the website, as well as the instructors that deliver the training programs. As far as the production itself, this is something which we can subcontract. In other words, we can hire a video producer to come and do the filming and the editing. So that resource to us can basically be represented in dollar terms. In other words, how much money do we need to pay for production? And to answer the question of which key activity is the most important in our business, the production of content or the production of the training programs, that is the most expensive. As I said earlier, just to produce a 20-minute training video, we require up to 4 or 5 hours just for the actual recording itself, for the editing and launching that single module online. This does not even include the time for preparation, because that is left to the instructor who is going to deliver the module. So once we identify the most important components of cost, we'll ensure that whatever financial resources are available are first allocated to those areas. Many times, companies are running into cash flow problems because when they receive money, they spend the money on activities that are not key. In other words, that are not part of the actual engine for the business. So in our case, we need to make sure that our website is always online, that it is always up to date, and we also need to make sure that we have enough resources for the production of training videos, enough resources to pay instructors, enough resources to pay video producers, and enough resources to market the product so that people actually know of the various training courses that we have. For any business, the marketing component cannot be overemphasized. It doesn't matter how good your product or service is. If nobody knows about it, you're going to take it to your grave. So you need to allocate sufficient resources towards the marketing of your product. These days, there are much cheaper ways of advertising through social media. In the past, we had to pay thousands of dollars for a single advertisement in the newspaper and on television. And the moment that edition of the newspaper or the moment the TV ad is aired and somebody did not see the newspaper and did not see the television ad, then that ad spend is lost. But on social media, we pay very little to advertise, and your advertisements are being fed into people's news channels, into people's news feeds on a daily basis. So in other words, for as long as you keep your adverts alive, they keep on being fed into people's news feeds. There's a module in which we are going to be discussing the management of cost, as well as how to turn around a loss-making business. So this is critical in this discussion of the cost structure of the business. We are also going to have another module where we are going to discuss the use of social media for marketing our business. So for now, that is the analysis of our business on the business model canvas. So your first official exercise is to create your own canvas. Draw those 9 boxes and label them, and then inside them you write the analysis of your business in each box in the same way that I've been doing. So you can rewind this video and listen to examples of the items that I was putting in the different segments. In the next module, I'm going to give an introduction to Microsoft Excel. This is because we are going to be working on income statements and cash flow statements at a later stage. If you have not used Microsoft Excel before, or you do not know those functions that we are going to be using when we create those financial statements, it is a good time for you to learn from scratch or to catch up on your skills. So I'll see you in the next module.